Ali. Let's just a bit more detail on this story, if you have any, please.
Sure. Hi, Steve. Yeah, well, according to the Public Relations Department of the Iranian oil company, the tanker is called the Sabeti, which belongs to the Iranian oil company, and it sustained damages to the body when it was hit by two missiles, as you mentioned, 60 miles from the Saudi port of Jeddah. Now, that's what the Iranian oil company is reporting. They are saying that all the crew members on board are safe and the ship is in a stable condition. They say only the body of the ship had suffered damage and the crew are working to control it, but there is a big oil spill into the sea there, which is obviously causing some environmental concerns. But yeah, the Iranians are saying that the ship was hit by two missiles. The ship is in stable condition and the crew on board are all okay and they're working to stabilize the ship. But it just shows you quite how volatile those waters are. I mean, we've seen incident after incident over the summer where tankers were hit, where the Iranians were blamed. Now it seems as if the tables have turned a little bit and an Iranian tanker has been hit. The Iranians are saying that this was an act of terrorism. But they haven't pointed the finger at anybody yet. They haven't said it's their arch enemy, the Saudis, or anybody else in the region that seems to be not getting on very well with Iran. I'm sure more details will emerge through the course of the day as Iran gives some details about who they think instigated the attack and what actions they may or may not take once they've determined who was behind it.
Ali, just to put a bit of flesh on that, I mean, you've been careful not to say it, but I think I can say the finger will be pointed at the Saudis or the Yemenis acting on behalf of the Saudis. Can I ask you, not to speculate necessarily on that, but just to ask you perhaps about the broader impact on the energy price and relations in that part of the world, if indeed that's the narrative that begins to unfold over the next few hours?
It's definitely going to have a much broader impact on oil prices, on the stability in the region that's already been pretty bad. I mean, look, we saw after the Aramco oil facilities were hit, oil prices went up. And the Saudis, after making some, quite threatening statements, realized that they needed to walk some of that back, especially as the Americans didn't seem to want to get involved in any sort of conflict with Iran, so they could bring oil prices down, which they did slightly. But this will probably make things spike again. It'll make people very nervous in the region, and it'll make investors very nervous about the region and the direction it's going in, because it doesn't look like, even though the Saudis and the Iranians have sort of dampened down the talk of war after the Aramco hit, there doesn't really seem to be an opening for any sort of dialogue between them. So if that means we're going to see more of these sort of attacks, we're going to see more instability in the market and geopolitically in the region.